You're welcome back to Breakfast Daily Weekend right here on Channel One TV. My name is Inosafo and I do this with Jude Duncan every weekend at 7 a.m. Joining us to discuss decorating your rented home without damaging the space is our very own Selim, the Dream Maker. Hi, Selim.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm perfect.
Are you well rested?
Not really.
I you just told us that you're still on break.
I was still working through. I mean,
hey, Jude, I'm jealous.
It was just a partial break. I'm not fully rested.
I'm jealous.
Why?
Extremely
Why
jealous.
Are you jealous?
Because you've rested.
No.
We've been working throughout.
No.
You haven't rested.
Not really. Not like I expected. No.
Well. Anyway, we've been asking our viewers what their most memorable moments of the inauguration was. I'm sure you watched a bit, if not all, of the ceremony.
I
so maybe you can share with us what your...
From a decor perspective.
Yeah, from a decor perspective.
Okay. So like you just said, from a decor perspective, I think for me, the team that put together the whole setup, I mean, it was top notch. They did well. I mean, they did well. The color coordination was quite on point. The layout, actually, you see, when I saw the pictures before the inauguration, I think a night before, people started showing. I didn't even realize it was the same venue we've been using all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't realize it was the same. I thought it was a different location. Yes, I mean, they did well. They gave us something new. Something different, yes. And I mean, the event was colorful. The event was colorful, from fashion to decoration to, I mean, everybody was looking like everybody was looking like Shepe, and I was glad to see a lot of young people. I mean, the parliamentarians, young people here and there. I listened somewhere, I think in that city also, one of the young MPs was being interviewed. Everybody was actually fascinated about how this MP and his wife were actually ushered in as if it was their wedding anniversary. As if it was their wedding anniversary. I mean, it was very glamorous, honestly. Yeah. I mean, the event was very, very glamorous.
Interesting.
Okay.
And do you have any messages for us just before we go? All right, so Mame from Adabraka says, OMG, this is the best inauguration I've experienced. The details, the caliber of dignitaries, the love shown. Goes on to add, could be fake, but who cares? The display of culture, Quintino, my overall first female vice president being sworn in. My joy is full, Joe. Happy New Year, guys. Love you to bits. And this is from Mame in Adabraka. Thank you for sending in your message, Mame. And we can move into the conversation now.
Yeah, decorating your rented home without damaging the space. I know when you go into a new space, you're tempted to hang picture frames or air conditioning. Sometimes they holes in the wall. Yeah. How can we avoid all of that? I don't know where we can begin from. So, Selim, over to you. Over to you, Julasi.
I think this whole issue, from my research and experience, it's not here alone. I mean, it's all over the place. Everywhere you go, people experience same issue. Rented properties, you want to do your own thing, but it's either you're restricted, you end up damaging something. I mean, it's a lot of challenge. So at the end of the day, most people just, let me just leave it like that. It's not, after all, it's not my house. After all, it's not mine. So why do I waste all this energy, all this money? I mean, sometimes, from experience, some people also claim my landlord is too strict. My landlord won't allow you to do anything. Not even hang pictures, not even drill anything. I mean, sometimes, you see, it's not their fault. It's not their fault. I mean, if you're able to put up a house, spend all your money, your savings to bring up a house, some of these drilling, hanging pictures alone is mostly not just about putting you have to drill holes, right? Yeah. I mean, traditionally, that's what we all know. And if you don't take care, remember there are electrical cables and plumbing cables all over in the walls and on the ground. So if you don't take care, you might end up running into some of these pipes,
Right.
which will cause issues later on. So, I mean, some years back, I was always fighting with landlords until I entered this profession. And I realized, you see, some of these, the little drilling, you'll be somewhere and they call you, the pipe is burst in the bathroom. Because someone was trying to install something.
Right.
And they didn't know that there were plumbing lines here, you see. So sometimes they try to, okay, you know what, I'll bring my own person to come and do it for you. Because, not because they are greedy or jealous or whatever, because probably this person was part of the construction and they know, I mean, every little part of whatever they put up there. So they can easily tell you that, okay, this here, this line, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. So it's a lot of challenge. I mean, the house is not yours. So the house is not yours, but at least, I mean, in this generation we are now, 2025, there are so many innovative ways. There are so many things popping up you can actually make good use of.
Right.
That will still, yes, sometimes not all of them are permanent measures. Some of them are just a little bit temporal. Like you can easily take out after a while.
So
Yes,
if I get you correctly, the fact that you've rented the house or the space doesn't mean that you can do anything like that.
Of course, I mean, the house is not yours. You can't just do anything.
Wow.
Yes,
You know, 'cause
whatever.
it's a topic that generates a lot of like public interest
Yeah.
around, because people want their privacy, people want their things done a certain way. Why they don't want to be seen to be being restricted.
Yeah.
You know, with what they can do to create that comfortable space they want. So, it's a dicey area to broach. But
It is.
let me just take your thoughts around. You talk about drilling, right? Talk about the laying of carpets, right?
Yeah.
Because maybe you enter a room, it's probably tiled. Then now you have to put in carpet, which will involve the use of glue, right? But for some reason, the landlord is saying ABC. Are there alternatives to begin with? So for the floor, putting your carpets on without destroying the original state of the floor.
Yeah. So, I mean, you might go into the house, you don't really like the color of the tiles, right? There are carpets, you can easily cover the floor, just put something to cover it. But then also there are carpets that do not really require gluing them. You get it? There are some carpets like that, you can just lay them. And then there are those ones that also require you to stick them. If not, either it'll be shifting from time to time here and there. I mean, if the place is very busy, right? But even with that, I think the gluing is easy to clean. When you are leaving and you take it off, you can easily get a cleaning.
Okay, sometimes, it leaves that like...
Sometimes, that's if they don't do it well.
Okay.
Or if you don't get professionals to do it for you. I mean, it can easily, especially if it's a glossy tile. The most difficult ones are the matte tiles. Those ones, a lot of them are not, stain resistant, and you get it, so they are very difficult to clean them. But if it's glossy, most of the time it can easily be cleaned. So for me, I believe it's far better than, thinking of removing the tiles and replacing it. Just cover it with either carpet or an area rag, or whether to glue it or not. There are also vinyl. Those also require gluing as well. Those vinyl stickers, you get it, that you can easily be removed. Most of them are self-sticking. You don't need to apply extra glue. Those ones are easy to remove without staining the floor. Except that the self-sticking ones, a lot of the time, do not stick permanently. After a while, they might come off. After a while, most of them might come off. So some people apply extra glue to make it last longer. So whichever way, just remember it is still a risk you are taking. But then also, I think it's far better to, before you move in, try and have this discussion with your landlord. Like, this is what you intend to do. Maybe I don't like the paint color, or I don't like the flooring. Can I do this? Can I change it? Can I cover it with whatever? It's far better to discuss it. Let them give you the go-ahead than to do it with your own will. Do you get it? At the end of the day, when you stay in it, they'll tell you, I didn't ask you to do it.
Are there modern ways to, hang your art or your pictures without necessarily drilling into the wall and leaving, marks?
Yeah. Yes, there are. These days, there are even adhesives that can easily be used to glue some of these hangings, some of these frames on the walls without having to. There are hooks, these kind of, how do you call it? Hooks. A lot of the hooks are not permanent. They can't really take heavy duty frames. Yes, so it's either what I see some people do is, yes, it is self-sticking, but they still apply glue to it, so that it can stick very well, and it can actually take up no matter the weight of whatever frame you are putting on there. Yes, there are quite a lot of some of these things all over. If you go to the market, if you go to the supermarket, you get some of these hooks or adhesive. Also try and check at the back of the frame you are using, what kind of hook do you get it? What kind of provisions are made? Some require you to drill. Most of the time, some of the frames that only have a thread that you can just hang on a nail. Apart from that, you can't. You get, so you might have to either drill and put a hole in there. There are some too that they are made in different ways, so you just have to check those things first before you make the commitment to buy. Right.
Wow. Let's talk about painting now. I wanted to talk about what to do and not to do from the tenant's perspective. We'll come to that later.
Yeah.
But just a little on painting. You received clear orders from the landlord that I don't want a different color of painting, right? Stemming from the fact that maybe they are not sure of the quality of the paint you are buying, blah, 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 and whether or not you even do a good job.
Yeah.
So will you then say the use of wallpapers can be an alternative to, cover it, and also, because you're able to remove it and understand when you want to? Talk to us about the use of wallpaper and how that can be an alternative for paint in your personal spaces.
For painting, I think in that manner aspect, I think that is quite understand. A lot of the landlords understand that aspect better, because it doesn't really cause so much damage to the property.
So it's not a major issue.
Well, in some instances, from what I know, they would paint for you, or they will let you paint, but make sure when you are leaving, you paint it back to whatever color you came to meet it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hear that a lot.
If you still don't like the color, you can go for any of these wall coverings, like a wallpaper, wall cloth, or whatever, which most of the time when you are leaving, either you pull it off, which means you still have to paint the wall, because pulling it off means it's going to also peel the paint that was already there. So you have to make sure you pull it, repaint before you leave. So if you can do that, that's...
Are there wallpapers for, outside?
Yeah, there are. There are some that are water resistant and actually can withstand the weather exterior. So yes, maybe the balcony, you want to cover those portions of the balcony. Maybe there is all those outdoor spaces. There are some that are also made with different materials.
I think you brought some the last time.
Yes, some that are made with different materials that can also withstand some of the weather outside. Yeah, there are quite a lot of options. It's just unfortunate most people are exposed to only the paper type.
Yeah.
That is what is very popular on the market. So maybe I won't blame them.
Let's talk about the tenants, right? Because they are the ones who encounter or have to deal with the problem a lot more. What you say should tenants should not involve themselves, should not do when they enter a space and they feel like they want to change certain things? What are like the lines they can't cross?
Before you answer that too, let me just add a bit of it. Sometimes I think tenants would also pay, I don't know what it's called, but it's for damages and things So in their mind, once that is paid,
they can do at liberty to do everything they want to do.
Well, that is true. Not every landlord charges that, though. And I realize that is very popular a lot in Accra. Not everywhere. Mostly, yes, not elsewhere. In Accra, a lot of them would take what do you call it, security deposit or whatever, yes, so that when you are leaving, they would come and inspect to see if you damage something, and then if you don't, I think mostly it's refundable. If everything is checked and whatever, they'll refund your money to you. So we still sometimes some of the damages will go beyond. The security deposit is just like 1 month's rent most of the time. So if it's 2,000 cedis or 4,000 cedis or whatever, sometimes what if the damage you created
is more than
that deposit? You still have to repair it or top up. or whatever agreement you have with the landlord. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. So back to your question. So I think yes, most of the times before you even make any form of commitment to the landlord, right? Try and ask the landlord, discuss with the landlord what are the do's and don'ts. What are the do's and don'ts? The landlords have a lot of, ideas and fantasies and restrictions. So you need to find out I will ask you before I even make any payment or decide to take it. Can I do this? Can I do that? I have this and this and this machine, which means, for instance, you are bringing in a washing machine, right? There's no provision for washing machine in the house, right? So, which means you have to bring a plumber, make drills, do the connection for you. That's a whole lot of work. So you want to find out, can I bring in my washing machine? Can I install it? Can I do this? I have this kind of lighting. Can I bring it in? Can I do that? I want to change the tiles. This is a discussion you have to have before any form of commitment, so that you know that this is my limit. This is my limit. Unless maybe the landlord is willing to negotiate on some of the rules they've given. You want to change the tiles, by all means. Especially, I've seen this in mostly maybe office spaces or houses, right? Maybe commercial spaces. Sometimes they really need to change the tiles. Right, so in such instances, I know some of the tenants would go into a contract, an agreement with the landlord that I'm doing this and this and this, or I'm changing the whole structure and renovating it with my own money. What can we do about that? Sometimes it's okay, go ahead. Maybe I would deduct it from your next rental. Do you get it? Sometimes some of them will also tell you, oh, please, that's none of my business. That is none of my business. I've told you not to make any changes. So if you want to go ahead, that is your costs. I don't want to have any. So just know where to draw the line. Know your limits. Discuss this with the landlord. Don't go, because at the end of the day, I don't know. I can't really talk much about the legalities of some of these things, but it's still not your property. You are just renting.
There's a question here for you. Joanne K Post wants to know, is it advisable to even spend on decorating a rented apartment, looking at the fact that it is not yours?
Oh, decorating, yes, you have to, you can. You need to have a good space. You need to have a lovely space. Decorating it doesn't mean that you have to damage other stuff. Do you get it? There are so many things you can bring in that could help you have a livable space without having to damage drill holes. Like I was saying, if it's the flooring you think you don't like, there are so many options. Right? There are so many options. You can either use the vinyl stickers that look exactly like tiles, right? Just that they come in a different material, or cover the floor with carpets, or rugs, or whatever. Do you get it? If it's a wall paint you don't like, I seem to, if the space is not mine, I'm renting and the house or the building is not mine, I seem to mostly stick to neutral colors if you want to paint. Okay. Do you get it? If it's white, I will always opt for white.
Don't go and do red and green and green and things.
No, at the end of the day, white is almost universal. White can actually match with almost any color. Do you get it?
Black oil paint.
Easy for you. It makes things easy for you.
There's another one here. Good morning. I'm renting a small apartment and I feel like it's hard to make it feel like home. Can you give me some tips on how to decorate without damaging the space? Michelle in Medina sent that.
Okay, so Michelle, like I was just saying, stick to neutral colors. You get it? Things that, so if I come in and the place is white, most of the time I won't bother myself changing the color. Yes, because no matter the color of my sofa, it will fit. No matter the color of my carpet, it will still work together. Do you get it? You try and another thing is mostly, when it comes to furniture, try and make good use of modular furniture, cabinets, modular sofa. These days, there are sofas that you can easily disassemble and rearrange them anyhow you want. You see, it makes things easy for you so that you don't think of, I'm in a new space is bigger, let me buy a new sofa. Right. Do you get it? There are lighting options that do not, that's also another delicate subject, the electricals. You want to add more lighting. right? But most of the time, traditionally, lighting means extra connection, extra whatever. But these days, there are so many ways you can. I don't know if you've seen these magnetic lights all over on the market, right? Wireless lighting that do not require any whatever on the walls. You just need to buy them, pull them, and then stick to the wall. Some are rechargeable, some use battery. Do you get it? And they look basically just like some of the wall scones we have. Some of the, I mean, even with pendants.
Right.
Do you get it? If it's a walls, you want to stick them to under cabinet lighting. A lot of these are magnetic that do not require any extra. So in this case, you see, you just need to apply a lot of problem solving mindset, a lot of creativity. There are things on the market, be ready to explore. Most people just go to one shop, they don't get what they like and they think that's it. No. There are things all over the place. If you are ready to import or buy online, I mean, it's not that difficult. You just need time to wait. Go online, Amazon, Alibaba, whatever. There are a lot of them all over the place. You get it? And they are not expensive too. They are not expensive. So
there's a question here. Hello, Enu and Jude. Please ask Selom if there are any specific decorating styles or trends that work particularly well in rented homes.
For rented home, I would advise stick to any of the minimalist styles. Those ones do not require too many shepherd stuff, too many different colors, too many. I mean, minimalist decoration styles are mostly contemporary, Scandinavian. These ones mostly are usually made of neutral colors. Do you get it? A lot of space, which means you don't need to bring in too many furniture, too many items. Do you get it? So minimalist decor are usually very easy to decorate, very easy to find, even the accessories, right? As compared to the others, the traditional, the vintage, all those things are mostly very hard to come by and very difficult to pull together as well. Do you get it? At the end of the day, you are bringing together too many colors, too many. I mean, just stick to the neutral, minimal decoration styles. Contemporary is very popular in Ghana here. Every Ghanaian actually is contemporaryist, minimalist. Yes, not all of us do, but so stick to those ones, right? Very minimal the furniture, very minimal colors. These are all neutrals: white, gray, and black. Most of the time,
Black.
white, gray, and black. Usually,
Just friends. Curtain is red and black.
Hey.
I know Rudy will not be happy to hear me say this. But check out this.
And what is the flooring? What's the color of the floor?
Jude,
I want to know.
Selom wants to know
The
the color of the flooring for the black and red.
I don't even remember. It was tiles.
Okay.
It was some
White?
Yeah,
No?
whitish
Are
creamish
you sure?
tiles.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
You see, the office, I go there often. So don't worry, I'll take your picture and come
Okay,
in. The next time we'll put it on the wall so you both see what I was referring to. Messages are coming in quite thick and fast. So if you were to advise landlords, on how to deal with some of these things, from the experiences you've garnered within the space, what would you say they should be more, tolerable of? And what would just your general advice be to landlords?
To landlords, I mean, please, this.
Not relax it, like chill. They should calm down.
Of course, I mean, we are in the era of Gen Zs. Do you get it? These people.
I was buying bricks and mortar and cement and concrete.
Where were they?
This generation, you need a lot of patience to live with them. They should be tolerant, like you were saying. I mean, there are so many things you can do. There's so many things that can be changed easily, right? Again, I think most landlords, you see, when they are designing, that's what makes in construction, if you realize, you go to most of the developings in town, right? Apartments, all these high expensive buildings. A lot of the time, the developers stick to neutral colors because they want to do something that at least almost everybody would like. So most of the time, they don't want to, unless they try to, have exceptions with different design styles, but you realize the whole house, the whole room, all the rooms are painted white. The tiles are mostly either white or something neutral because they are trying to sell. I don't want a situation where everybody will come, oh, I don't like black. Oh, I don't like red. Do you get it? So I need to do something that at least majority of my buyers will like. Do you get it?
Let me throw it off balance a little. Not entirely off balance. Still connected to what we are discussing. You get people, or some landlords also say, I mean, if you are moving in, you can't move in with your pets, right? I don't know if you've heard that, people share that experience a lot. Are there ways you can like modify it so much that if, for example, it's a compound house and you need to move in with like your pet's dog or your pet's cat, it won't be a nuisance to other people within the space? Are there new modern designed spaces for pets you can use to manage that?
I mean, there are. But the problem is if it's a compound house, which means you are not the only person, you are not the only tenant, there are other people. So, which means that you have to be very, very responsible so that your pet doesn't become a nuisance to the other person. But if you are there alone, I mean, how do you call it? A self-compound that you alone live there. There are so many innovations now these days. There are pet houses, there are pet rooms, there are pet ways you can even, a lot of the time, most people don't even allow their pets to come out. Do you get it? But some people might still not be, comfortable with the fact that there's a dog in this room, in this apartment. So for that, in a way, so far as it's a compound house, it's going to be very difficult to, although there are ways you can easily, unless you can maybe promise the landlord that, no, don't worry, I have a dog, but I will never let the dog come out of my room. If only you can stick to that.
I can understand a landlord or landlady who is hesitant in giving out a room or a house when you want to bring in pets, right, and other animals. But my shock when I once saw a post, borderline tribalism, right? Borderline tribalism, and for me it was repugnant. It was. I don't even have the words to describe. It was shameful. Where people are not willing to give out rooms to certain people. And for me, I find it like, wow, how would you even
build
put
in the first place?
Yeah, you have money, you can do.
Some landlord even says, this particular house is not even a compound house. This particular house, if you are not married, I won't give it to you. Yes, they don't want any single lady or something.
There are others who, if you're single, they won't give it to you.
Yeah.
Because they'll say
you'll be bringing boyfriends to the house.
And girlfriends into the house.
Charlie, we have to start naming and shaming landlords.
Some won't rent to women.
Some of them
won't rent to men.
I had an experience like that. So there was this agent. He was the one who told me, oh, the man says he doesn't want any single lady in the house. You have to be married. So later, after I met the man, he later told me, you know what? He said I can come. So I asked him what happened. Apparently he had gone. When I moved in, the landlord's wife came to the house to meet me. Apparently he had gone to tell the man I'm about to marry. That was why they agreed to give the house to me. So she wants to meet my husband who I'm about to marry.
Imagine.
He was overprojected, but you are let us I can understand if you don't want to give your house to a single boy. You can be.
Why?
But in all of those things, I struggle to see the sense in it. But for me, I think the line that we cross is when you say that because person A is coming from A and B and C, you can't give out your space. For me, I think it's shameful, and if there's any rent control doesn't work.
Please.
No, you should know, right?
We don't want to go there. The rent control is there.
It's a different conversation.
Thank you.
But for me, I don't think in 2024 and in 5 we should be having to deal with some of these things, right?
Yeah.
I can understand if you have issues with me drilling holes, laying carpets, changing the paint, but you can't tell me that you won't rent to me because I'm coming from a particular part of the country. Anyway, we'll let it slide. Before you go, some messages have come on tips to decorating kitchens and bathrooms. Very briefly, then you go.
Decorating kitchens and bathrooms. I mean, these two I always mention to my students. These two are the most delicate part of the house, right? Why? Because of the connection, the layout. I mean, the kind of work that go on behind the scenes before you see the kitchen. You get it. The least thing you spoil something. right? So these two places require a lot of care. The bathroom and kitchen, especially when it comes to the layout, planning the layout. Where should this go? Where should that go? Right? A bathroom, for instance, you enter a bathroom and the WC is right by the door. You open the door and you can't even sit on the WC. The sink is either blocking the door or something. The shower is in the corner and the towel rack is somewhere by the door. Which means when you finish showering, you have to walk across all the way. I mean, it's same thing happens in the kitchen too. The layout, planning the layout is to me the first thing, the number one priority. How to arrange the things such that, because remember, put in place, remember what activities are going to go on in the bathroom. Do you get it? So mostly the basic for the bathroom is remember what is the most used fixture in the bathroom. Right? In the bathroom mostly has either the WC, the sink, and then the shower area, right? Sometimes a bathtub. Which one is the most used in the bathroom? That's you have to be going up and down. Mostly is the WC, right? So that is one thing you don't want to put all the way to the back, right? It should be around the door, not too far from the entrance, right? Just that it also doesn't have to be too visible when you're standing by the door. Do you get it? Because of privacy issues. Even if it's the couple sharing it, most of the time they don't want to see each other. So mostly just put that in mind, right? You get it? And then also you look at, the next thing is mostly the sink, which also doesn't have to be too far from the door. These two, if you're able to plan them well, the shower area is usually very bulky and the less used in the bathroom. So you don't want to bring it too close to the door. If not, it's going to take too much of the space around, and it's going to actually, how do you call it? Yes, spoil movements. If you put, most people don't realize that until they finish and they are bringing in the shower enclave, the glass cabinet, would you get it? Before they realize it has taken too much space. That's why it's advised you don't put the shower by the entrance. That one should even go to the father, because it is the less used in the bathroom. Do you get it? Now the most should be these two items. How you arrange it is the next thing. Where you place them is the next. As for the sink, it's not so anything that requires so much privacy as compared to the WC, right?
I can imagine.
Same thing in the kitchen. Kitchen too, you want to know. For that, you want to also know how many people use the kitchen at a go. Is it a family house? Is it a family kitchen, or you're alone? Right? And what are mostly the activities? You want to know the flow of activities in the kitchen, so you can easily arrange.
It's interesting all the things you're saying. Very nice, very very thoughtful, very demure.
Very mindful.
Very mindful. Except that you live in like some apartment I saw somewhere in Tokyo and in New York, because the kitchen and the toilets, it is. Like
New York apartments are something different.
I just pray that I hope that we don't get to that point in Ghana. No. I think we're almost getting there.
Really?
The toilet and the kitchen is like
they're opposites.
Yeah, it's
a lot of the time. I think it's because they don't see most of the. I won't even use the developers. Most of the residential properties we have, right? The landlords do not use professionals. Do you get it? Someone calls himself a contractor. I can build a house for you. Those are the people who can easily use their mouths to draw a plan.
I'm even talking like in advanced countries, like in Japan,
in Ghana,
like in
it's
New
happening.
York. The spaces are very small.
Very small.
So you have to manage.
Here too,
right? So there's no flexibility for style.
Yes. But even with that, even with the size of the space, you see, with careful planning, you can actually do something better.
You can maximize it.
Yes, you can do something better, right? It all boils down to planning. Most of the landlords I have seen and experienced do not plan. I have people calling me after they've been able to put up the structure, right? Which means they have a floor plan. They've been able to put up the structure, roof it before they call me to come and draw a floor plan for them. You get it? So how did you come by?
Yeah.
How did you come by the whole thing you are doing?
They are sorry.
What were you doing?
They are sorry.
We are sorry. We won't do that again. So let me ask you this last question before we go. Dennis is asking what general items you recommend Dennis invests in to improve his home decor without damaging anything.
I think we've mentioned quite a number of years. Like I was saying, if the wallpaper, removing the wallpaper is difficult for you, just paint the room white or a neutral color. You get it. One thing I remember, one reason I like white paint is it makes the room very lively.
Right.
It makes the room look actually expand. You get it. So if it's a small space, white makes it expand.
Okay.
Right. So you don't want to go and paint blue, dark blue, blue, black, black. I mean, those are things. White is something almost everybody likes, unless probably they say they have kids and they don't like the white color.
But even now, the paints that you can,
you can
scrub
wash.
off, yeah.
Yes, washable paint. Just ask for silk, right? Just ask them for the silky paint. Those ones you can easily wash off the dirt. Yeah. Same as even the wallpaper. It can easily get dirty, but there are some that are washable, water resistant. So just inquire. I think I should put it that way. Ask around. There are so many options. Yeah, there's so many things you can do to actually have your rented space look like you prefer.
All right. Thank you so much, Salom, the dream maker. And that's today's tip. Quite simple. And then you can, decorate as and when, and try not to drill holes into the wall. There's so many options available on the market now, but white for your walls. It makes everything simple thereafter. Coming up next is a performance by Kaj Real. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away.